To say that we're fans of the Grand Power pistols might be an understatement. One of these things is not like the other. One of these things is not quite the same. No, it's not the 380. That's a blowback. That is slightly different. And the Excalibur, with its fluted bull barrel that we're familiar with, one of them operates with a different trigger system. The Q100 right there is Grand Power's first striker-fired gun, and that's what we're looking at next on GBGuns. So to give you our classic unboxing type thing, we do get the plastic hard case with the hole for a lock, double clasp. The gun, 2 magazines, 4 total back straps of interchangeability for different hand sizes. We have done videos on the different Grand Power grips and how they change the feel in the hand. Up top, you have the instruction manual, bore brush with a rubberized tip so you don't risk scoring the rifling, and the warranty, which is 2 years for plastic parts and surface treatment, 5 years for all other parts. You also get different front sights and the Allen wrench required to change them. My guess would be different bullet weights hit at different spots. You might think, well, my Glock doesn't come with that. Well, that's because Grand Power has a slightly different attitude about precision. These guns can be a bit finickier because the tolerances are tighter. They're a more precise gun. The Q100, I'm very excited about. Been waiting quite a while for it. A striker-fired Grand Power. The triggers on the Grand Powers are one of my favorite things in their single action. What the striker fired is going to feel like is one of the things that we're going to look at. Let's get the box out of the way and take a closer look at the gun. So as always, we'll start by showing clear. Spare magazine. There's that ejection that I love. Actually truly ejecting, not just releasing the magazine. And you notice I'm doing that from pushing on the other side because Grand Powers are fully, completely ambidextrous. Not just left-handed capable, but they come out of the box ready for use on either side. I am left-handed, but I shoot right because it keeps things interesting. I do like to use my middle finger to activate that button rather than reach my thumb down. Anyway, so we've got that done. Press check, and we've got a clear chamber. For those of you not familiar with the Grand Powers, we do have a rotating barrel, which makes for really smooth recoil, and I do believe quicker follow-up shots. So the gun's clear. The magazine, by the way, nicely blued, and in European fashion has the you're getting low, you're doing fine, and no worries, you're full holes, but not individual round counts. Bright orange follower to let you know when you're out. Now onto the gun. At the muzzle end, so you have a wee bit of crowning there. Very snug fit. Rounded start of the slide. Do have rail space underneath. Single slot, but plenty of room. Some serrations on the front strap, if you're one of those wrap your finger on the front shooters. Serrations on the front of the slide for the press check. Safety doohickey in the middle of the trigger. Slide release. It's nice and long, which makes it really easy to get to. Rather low profile. See, it sticks out just a wee bit. We've got the contouring on the grip that prevents and sort of shields the magazine release from getting bumped, but still has it accessible. Serrations on the front strap. Contour here, the interchangeable back straps. Like I said, you can watch our other Grand Power videos to see what differences they make. Slide to frame fit. I can go front and back. Can I go side to side? Not really. Very snug. Classic basic 3-dot sights. Coming on the right side. Side release, magazine release. Now you might be wondering about these plugs here. That's where the safety usually goes on Grand Powers, or the safety in decocker. So this is obviously a frame being used for another gun like the K100, which I have, and we'll go over the similarities and differences with that. But you can see the safety right there where that hole is. So to field strip, they are a bit different than most guns. I argue though that learning how to field strip them is a lot like learning how to field strip a Glock, which is now of course pretty much the standard. First time you try to do it, it might have been difficult. Then you learn the trick of grabbing back here and taking it apart very easily. With Graham Powers, the trick is to hook your finger in the trigger guard here, pull down on the takedown levers on both sides, put the pistol against something sturdy because you're going to move the slide back, lift up, and then come forward like that. And that's how it strips. So looking at our frame, one thing that I see that's immediately different from other Graham Powers is we have a captured recoil spring. It's interesting. It's flat coil. There's that steel inner chassis, made famous by SIG with the 320, but had been in use long before that, including with Graham Power. And that chassis helps keep the trigger feel consistent and everything from flexing. So it's a positive thing. You can tell this is nicely lubed. We have a bit of a polish on the feed ramp there. And our slide, the barrel, and this is always my favorite part to look at. Until it starts as a single large piece of steel and gets machined. There's that camming surface. You can see the camera and my ceiling in the reflection of it, which is pretty impressive. We'll check chamber fit in a moment. And then inside the slide, we see maybe some machining marks, hard to tell. We've got the brass rub from the test fire. It's our safety plunger. The spring is rather stiff, which is interesting because the trigger isn't that heavy. And then they cut out the unnecessary metal. It helps keep weight down. If you didn't know, a lot of the recoil in most of the guns you fire that you feel isn't necessarily the round going off, it's the reciprocating mass coming to a stop. So on an AR, that's when the bolt bottoms out and then heads back forward. On pistols, it's the same thing. So the lighter your slide is, generally the less recoil you'll feel. Not always, but for the most part. I'll get up around and we'll check our chamber fit. So to quell any arguments that might have come up about what ammo we use for our chamber fits, I've got some Nosler here. It's pretty hard to argue against the precision of Nosler. If you're not familiar with their ammo, we had a 1.5% variance in velocity. Pretty damn precise. Drop it in there, and you can see fully supported, which is excellent. Put the gun back together, and we'll take a look at how it compares with its cousin, the K100, which is the hammer fired. We'll also take a look at the trigger pull. Random side note, just wanted to show you that stamping on the barrel there. These guys are obviously serious about guns because they stamp GB right on their barrels. Just kidding, that's just the production year code. I'll get this thing back together. Alright, so as I said in the beginning, one of my favorite things and part of what I love about the Graham Powers is the trigger. Now this is of course a single action, double action that they're known for, show clear. To watch the way these triggers work, you have take up, right to the wall, brakes. Reset, right there, brakes again. Great triggers. Maybe not the lightest, but as far as giving you feel and sound and total travel, awesome triggers. So my question is, when it's striker fired, how's that going to be? I've come to trust and expect that a Graham Power is going to have an awesome trigger when it's hammer fired, but this is their first striker. So let's take a look. Clear. Wow. So the feel is very smooth. No real stacking. It just pulls right through. Very similar to how an AK breaks. There is a bit of over travel. So if you were to yank all the way back, your trigger wouldn't reset till you came out that far, and then would fire again. But with disciplined trigger pull, stopping at the brake, it's going to take some learning to be that gentle with it. But I guess that over travel also helps prevent you from doubling accidentally if you're riding on it, because it is pretty light and smooth, and they doohickey in the middle, yes, that's my official term, is effectively the safety. So let's see what the pull is on our lambing gauge. So it's about 3 pounds 11 ounces. Maybe it is lighter than I thought. 3 pounds 14 ounces, and one more. 3 pounds 12 ounces. That's a fairly light trigger, and it's a very smooth pull. So with that being the only safety, this is definitely something for the disciplined shooter. Now back to how the Q100 and its brother, I guess you could call it, the K100, compare and differ. Of course, the K100 has the external safety, not a decock model, just safety or ready. Everything else is similar as far as I can tell. Difference, however, with the striker fired is it allows the slide, it requires the slide to end in a different spot, and so you end up with a longer sight radius. Let me zoom back so you can tell that I've got the fronts together. So if I put the fronts of the slide together, the rear sight on the Q100 is actually further back, so we have a longer sight radius, which should make for more accurate shooting, which is something that excites me quite a bit considering how accurate the K100 is. This will be a fun one. Might have to learn this trigger a bit, but interesting gun. Let me know what you guys think. These are just starting to be distributed, so you might not have seen one yet. Hopefully you're familiar with the K100s and the rest of the line, but I am curious to hear what you guys think about this. You know, when I met, I've met Yeager a few times, but when James Yeager and I were talking at the NRA show, he mentioned how he doesn't like hammer fired. I love hammer fired for that crisp trigger. I mean, it's just great. It's like on any 1911. You get that nice, clean break, right? Generally, striker fires have a bit more squish because of all the things going on in there. I've come to appreciate, though, that striker fires have less opportunity for failure. If you watch any of the Military Arms channel torture test videos, you know that the chance of stuff getting in there could cause a failure in extreme environments. I don't shoot in extreme environments. I don't carry in extreme environments anymore. Did that for 15 years. I'm done with it. Now I'm a civilian, so it doesn't necessarily concern me that much. I just generally haven't liked the triggers on strikers. This might be different. Have to get used to it. Anyways, let me know in your comments below. Don't forget to click the bell so that you know when our review on this, the shooting portion, comes out. Thanks for watching. Hey, thanks for watching GBGuns. If you've waited this long, you either appreciate what we're doing, or you're trying to formulate some type of argumentative comment and get the fight going. Either way, click the big griffin up here to subscribe and see our upcoming videos. Don't forget, by the way, to click on that little bell thing. That gives you a notification, lets you know when there's a new video. Down here is the link for our Patreon. Google revenues have cut. Those covered most of our ammo costs and expenses. If you subscribe to Patreon, you get a sneak peek at some of our videos before they go out to the general public. Those of you doing $10 or more a month do get one of our GBGuns patches. These are quite limited because this stuff's expensive. Up here is a video that Google suggests you'll like based on your watching history. I don't know if it's any good or not, you tell me. And then down here is the playlist most relevant to the video you just watched. Keep in mind, some of these videos fit in more than one playlist. I select one, that's what gets there. But anyways, that's the way the channel works, and thanks again for watching.